all right, I'll become the new OpenAI CEO. They've asked me for so many years to do it. I've always said, no, I don't have time. I have to attend the paper discussions on our Discord server every Saturday night. And, just don't have the capacity to also do this. I'll do it. You have me. This comes in the wake of an announcement on the OpenAI blog that says, after critical examination by the board, after a deliberate review process, concluded that Sam Altman was not consistently candid in his communications with the board, hindering its ability to exercise its responsibilities. The board no longer has confidence in his ability to continue leading OpenAI. OpenAI is essentially firing Sam Altman. Sam Altman departs the company. He is being gone. He jobbent. Mira Murati is appointed the interim CEO, while OpenAI is looking for a new one. They have not yet announced my accepting of this, as I've just done it in this video. What happened here? This blog post comes as a surprise to almost everyone, including, as we'll see, Sam Altman, including Microsoft, including OpenAI employees, and so on. The board of OpenAI is a pretty complicated construct in terms of their company structure, but essentially it is the body that governs OpenAI, and they have ousted Sam Altman. He himself has released a tweet, or an X or whatever that's called now, saying, "I loved my time at OpenAI. It was transformative for me personally and hopefully the world a little bit. Most of all, I loved working with such talented people. We'll have more to say about what's next later." Signing off. Greg Brockman, who was the chairman of the board of OpenAI, tweeting this, saying, "After I learned today's news, this is the message I sent to the OpenAI team. Hi everyone, I'm super proud of what we've all built since starting in my apartment 8 years ago, yada, yada, yada. But based on today's news, I quit." So Greg quitting, Sam being jobbant, and Sam then later also tweeting out that today was a weird experience. It's sort of like reading your own eulogy while you're still alive. The outpouring of love is awesome, of all the people wishing him well and thanking him for his service at OpenAI. A lot of speculation. I love you all spells Ilya. People have been asking what's behind this. Why is Sam Altman being fired from OpenAI? And one speculation is, in fact, that Ilya Sutskever is behind sort of an overturning of power inside of OpenAI. Greg Brockman later released a tweet detailing a little bit of the timeline of what happened here. Greg saying, "Sam and I are shocked and saddened by what the board did today. We're still trying to figure out what exactly happened. Here is what we know." That being said, Greg Brockman was the chairman of the board of OpenAI. So this is all the more mysterious that he himself wasn't involved in any of this. This seems like quite a backroom deal that was being done here to overturn the power structure inside of OpenAI. Saying, "Last night, Sam got a text from Ilya asking to talk at noon Friday. Sam joined a Google Meet and the whole board, except Greg, was there." So Greg being himself. Ilya told Sam he was being fired and that the news was going out very soon. At 9:12 p.m., Greg got a text from Ilya. So this was supposedly 19 minutes after Sam was informed, asking for a quick call. At 12:23, Ilya sent a Google Meet link. Now, people already going around saying, never join an impromptu Google Meet. Greg was told that he was being removed from the board, but was vital to the company and would retain his role. So just the board membership would be removed, and that Sam had been fired. Around the same time, OpenAI published a blog post. As far as we know, the management team was made aware of this shortly after, other than Mira, who found out the night prior. Microsoft, shortly after that, releasing a statement that they are committed to delivering all of this with to the customer, all of what they've presented in the week prior. "We have a long-term agreement with OpenAI with full access to everything we need to deliver on our innovation agenda and exciting product roadmap. Remain committed to our partnership, and Tamira and the team together will continue to deliver, yada, yada, yada. So Microsoft essentially saying like, don't worry everyone, just because Sam and Greg are leaving OpenAI. OpenAI is still bound to us. We still have all the access to tech that we need and to the models, to upcoming models, so that we can deliver on all the things we promised to deliver. It's as of yet unclear if Microsoft benefits from this or not. And that goes a bit to the core of, what actually happened and why it happened. All of what we're going to talk today, except a few, confirmed facts, are total speculation. Don't believe anything as of now. The story is still super developing, but we can dive a little bit into what we know. According to Forbes, investors did not know that any of this was going to happen. In this case, it seems like the board of directors, which consists of a fairly random sample of people, just made this decision. Axios also reporting Microsoft was blindsided by OpenAI's ouster of CEO Sam Altman. A lot of people, when it comes to the relation of OpenAI and Microsoft, point to the OpenAI's structure, how they are organized. You can see at the top, the board of directors controls a non-profit organization that via a few, corners then controls OpenAI Global, which is the so-called capped profit company. OpenAI Global are the ones that actually are building chatgpt and GPT-4 and so on. Microsoft being a minority owner, but probably the most significant shareholder of OpenAI Global. So the board of directors controls the non-profit, and the non-profit is tasked with sort of making AI for the whole of humanity, for the benefit of humanity, making it safe. Two leading theories of what happened here are, one, concerns and disagreements about how to deploy AI safely, with the leading theory being that Sam Altman, or his side of the view, was we should go really fast, make profit, push out tech, and so on. And the counterpoint being, let's slow down, let's make sure everything's safe, let's forego some of the growth and profit. The other, let's say, hypothesis of what happened here goes more along the lines of who is actually in control of the company, with one side probably being the Altman side, saying, we should go faster, we should grow more, and potentially, and this is all speculation, potentially taking up more and more investment of Microsoft, which might eventually give Microsoft sort of a more and more controlling stake in the whole organization. And on the other side, the counterpoint to that being people who want to remain independent and who want more power for themselves over OpenAI and potential future inventions of it. This fifth point of the structure that's outlined here seems to be important, and people are pointing to it. So OpenAI itself says the board determines when we've attained AGI. By AGI, we mean a highly autonomous system that outperforms humans at most economically valuable work. Such a system is excluded from IP licenses and other commercial terms with Microsoft, which only apply to pre-AGI technology. The point that I made about control, and one leading hypothesis of what happened here is a disagreement over control, could be related to this. Some people might have thought, well, now we have achieved AGI. This sort of excludes what we do from our agreements with Microsoft. And other people might have disagreed with that and saying, no, we haven't achieved AGI, and therefore Microsoft is involved, which goes obviously hand in hand with the fact, like, if they had achieved AGI, let's say they had, then Microsoft would be kind of, standing there with nothing, because Microsoft would be like, okay, we'll have all our pre-AGI tech from OpenAI, but this new one, they're not going to give to us because it's AGI. And therefore, why should we invest more money into them? It could be that Sam Altman had argued that the next thing wasn't AGI because he wanted to take up more money from Microsoft and thereby grow. Whereas the counterpoint could have argued, well, what we have now achieved is AGI, and therefore we don't need Microsoft anymore. But in Altman's mind, this might have hindered growth. Of course, if you had AGI, by their own definition, couldn't you just point AGI at sort of the stock market and then kind of make infinite money, and thereby you wouldn't need any investment and could still continue to grow? Sam Altman apparently just a few days ago uttered a statement here in a speech that essentially, and I'm not going to play it because the sound is so out of date with the picture, it doesn't make sense anyway, but saying essentially 4 times now in the history of OpenAI. The most recent time was just in the last couple of weeks. I've gotten to be in the room when we push the veil of ignorance back and the frontier of discovery forward. No one knows exactly what this alludes to. This could allude to sort of the new GPT-4 Turbo, where Sam might have thought, wow, this is really a step up. Or it could allude to a new extended version like a GPT-5 that just steps up the capabilities of GPT-4 by another exponential factor. And that this is essentially the new technology where there was disagreement about how fast it should be deployed. Given how out of date the sound is with the video here, there is a non-zero chance that this is just a deepfake. There are a few insider informations coming out about this, including this one. Before OpenAI ousted Altman, employees disagreed over AI safety. Sutskever may have felt Altman was moving too quickly to commercialize the software. Another article out of the information states that more people are now resigning. OpenAI has a lot of employees, so it could just be that some people just kind of resign on the same day and are now lumped together. But it is also definitely possible that this is the result of these disagreements. Again, we don't exactly know who was on what side of these arguments, or whether people just feel like it's a good time to jump ship. Sutskever gave an answer to a question that alleged that this was essentially a coup by Ilya Sutskever. And Sutskever said, "I can understand why you choose this word, but I disagree with this. This was the board doing its duty to the mission of the nonprofit, which is to make sure that OpenAI builds AGI that benefits all of humanity." When Sutskever was asked whether these backroom removals are a good way to govern the most important company in the world, he answered, "I mean, fair, I agree that there's not an ideal element to it, 100%. My hypothesis is that most likely this is about money and control. I can definitely imagine that Altman wanted to grow faster, make more revenue, and thereby possibly take on more of an investment from Microsoft, giving Microsoft more control, whereas the other side around Sutskever may have felt that giving Microsoft such a degree of control was counter to their interests, counter to retaining power. And just again, my personal speculation, this is then couched in the language of safety. I don't believe for a second that people are so concerned about safety at all. Ilya is one of the smartest people on the planet, even if he's in the Silicon Valley bubble. And I'm not sure if he is an effective altruist as opposed to most others. Ilya is actually smart and very competent. But what's usually the case is that they phrase their personal aspirations in the language of, oh, this is good for humanity. Like they always manage to post-rationalize whatever they want to happen, such that it just happens to be the thing that they claim is most beneficial to humanity. Like, what a coincidence. It's always what's best for them is the thing that's best for humanity. So I have my fair degree of skepticism when someone kind of rationalizes their way towards themselves getting more power and retaining more power. It might actually be the case that that is the actual reason. I just don't believe it. All of this happening in the backdrop while LMS is reporting that GPT-4 Turbo, the new GPT model, has surged to the top of their arena leaderboard. Microsoft announcing a new language model, Phi 2, that they say will be open source, but as of yet seems to have a research-only license. And NVIDIA compressing 30 years of its corporate documents and so on into a language model. You know, chip designs and so on, they trained on that, which is interesting. Interesting approach to making new chips. But a lot of these other companies are pushing forward with large language models, including Microsoft, right, who is the main funder of OpenAI. And thereby it's totally understandable why Sam could have wanted to push and grow as fast as possible. And it's also totally foreseeable that that might lead to disagreements. Kara Swisher is a reporter embedded, let's say, in the Silicon Valley tech ecosystem, has released a lot of scoops that have turned out to be right. So I want to present some of the scoops that she's brought out over the course here, saying, sources tell me Chief Scientist Ilya Sutskever was at the center of this. We kind of know that. Increasing tensions with Sam Altman and Greg Brockman over role and influence, and he got the board on his side. The developer day and how the store was introduced was an inflection moment of Altman pushing too far, too fast. I know I've not reported on the OpenAI developer day, which in my opinion was like the most boring thing ever. It was just marketing speech. It was just introducing new products. There wasn't a single novel idea there, which is consistent with this. So it's like, how do we make money? And another one saying, board members who voted against Altman felt he was manipulative and headstrong and wanted to do what he wanted to do. Someone who definitely claims to be concerned about safety is Eliezer Yudkowsky, cheering these developments, saying that Mira Murati reached out to him in 2022. Sam Altman never essayed any such contact, which, you know, so far Sam Altman's been kind of shady to me, but this definitely increases my sympathies for him. Eliezer saying, I stand immediately ready to double and triple down on the brighter assessment of OpenAI. Says they should change their name away from OpenAI so they stop making closedness look too bad. Now, as we all agree, OpenAI should change their name to better reflect what they are. Eliezer here fully cheering on OpenAI being closed. OpenAI stopped to giving out capability hints like they did with explaining the sauce behind DALL-E 3. Openness is burning the commons for short-term reputation gain. Closed is cooperative. And many, many more takes. You, sir, are a joke. And for some reason have a degree of influence. And from the rest of humanity, you're doing quite a bit of damage using that influence in that way. Seems to be a pretty reliable source of good decision making to just go to Eliezer and do the opposite. So we've come here, careers at OpenAI. We'll search, and there it is, CEO. And what am I supposed to do? All I can do now is apply. So let's fill this in. Yeah. What is your most significant technical achievement? GPT 4chan. Please provide an example or evidence of your exceptional ability. One time I filled my nostrils with water and I breathed out so hard it almost came out of my ears. That should convince them. Are able to work from our San Francisco headquarters 3 days per week. No, that sounds cumbersome. So here we are. Sam, Greg, now that you have time, you can also attend our paper discussions. It would be an honor to have you there, and especially maybe to replace me because I'll be kind of busy running your company. So if you have any thoughts around this, and again, this story is super developing, please don't believe any things that come out, take them with a grain of salt. And it's very likely we may never exactly know what happened, and even less likely that we may know why it happened. It seems that so far going forward, OpenAI may take a bit of a different direction, either a more independent one, a more safe one, or it may just be someone else that now has the power and things will continue exactly as they were. It's going to be an interesting time. Leave a comment, leave a like, share the video out, and see you around. Bye bye.